Hey y'all, this is Ree, where I come to talk to you about what I have either read in the blogs, watched on TV, or heard in these streets. Today it is about what I have watched on TV. Yes, we are doing 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way, Season 4, episode... I can't even remember the episode. I'm definitely going to have it within the caption, of course. But I cannot remember the episode. I missed doing the episode last week with you guys, got sort of caught up in a lot of things, but I am back and I am in full effect. So for anyone that's new to my channel, my name is Ree, where I do reviews on different shows and I talk about different topics at will at time. Lately, I've been doing reviews. So if you stick around and if you like what you see, make sure you come back for more. Like, comment, definitely subscribe. Let's grow this channel together. I'm trying to get this channel to the big 500. So I'm super excited at just how far it's come and the feedback that I've been getting from you guys. I love you guys tremendously and continue to leave your feedback. I want to read it all. Okay, this review is going to be super short because it really wasn't much to work with. As you guys know, I try to keep things straight to the point, so it's not going to be any different this time. Let's get Isabel and Gabriel out of the way, okay? So Isabel and Gabriel, they go and they see someone regarding them getting married because the last episode he officially proposed to Isabel, right? Okay, so now they're talking about the whole marriage and he finds out that basically he needs his birth certificate. You see, his passport and his license says that he is a male, but his birth certificate still lists him as a female. And so he needs to get that squared away in order for them to actually be officially able to marry. Okay, so he's getting ready to head back home, head back to America. He said he doesn't know how long it's going to be before he comes back, but he's going to work on it immediately and then return back to Colombia. So that's it with them. Let's move on to Osama and Debbie. Okay, so Osama and Debbie, they're in the car and he tells her that, hey, you know what? I did not tell my parents that you were planning on staying here, but he is prepping her for the meeting of the parents and so forth. Side note, is it me? I think the reason why Debbie annoys me so much is because Debbie talks like she is in a film from the 1940s. Like sometimes I feel as if like I'm watching Gone with the Wind whenever she talks. But you know, whatever. I mean, maybe it's just me. Okay, let's move on. Let's get down to where she officially meets the parents, right? Okay, she meets his parents and his sister. They invite her, they pour her some coffee. And, you know, they pour the coffee at a distance. And Debbie's just like, ooh la la. Like, oh my goodness. I feel like I'm at a magic show. Like, oh my God. Like, I was like, girl, what? Whatever. All right. So then they start to ask questions. And, you know, Debbie asks, hey, you know, like, is it a problem? You guys have issues with the age difference? And Pops is just like, nope, you know, perfectly fine. Like, we know that, you know, love is there and it's, you know, the soul tie, all of this BS. Let me tell y'all something. Mama, though, Mama had a look on her face. You can clearly tell she has a problem with this old woman that is old enough to be his, not just mom, but even like a young grandmother, if we wanted to say something, right? Like, to be honest, they're like a 40 plus year age difference. And in some hoods, that's a young grandmother. But, you know, bottom line is that Mama is looking at her like, I am not with this at all. Let me tell you something. Energy is going to tell you everything you need to know about how somebody feels about you. I've said this before in previous videos. I'm going to say it here just in case if you are new to my channel. The line of determining things is energy, then actions, then words. Okay, because the actions, you see, they pouring coffee and everything. They're telling her what she wants to hear. That's the words part. But that energy, that the look that Mama was giving was like, I am not with this at all. Which tells me that the reason why they're saying they're with this is probably because they're expecting her to bring him over to the United States of America. And we find out with the next episode that, yeah, that's literally what he's looking towards. But let's not ruin things. We'll move on. Let's get to Jen and Rish. We leave off where Jen and Rish are still at that Indian spa. And side note, when this season started, Rish definitely told us that he was a model and a fitness trainer, right? He said he was a fitness instructor, fitness trainer, whatever, and a model. Reese has been showing us these old photos, and we are looking, and Reese is looking as if he is, you know, he has let go of all modeling, and he's not training Nobody in the gym, okay? Like, the body that we are seeing in that spa and the body that is in his photos are night and day. But but he still looks great. I'm just saying that, I just noticed my eyes are not, I still got 20/20 vision. I'm not blind. I can see the clear difference. But we move on. So Reese, they're discussing about the fact that, he had sent her friend Randy, a message. Randy, the one that was trying to bait him. And he explains, like, listen, I knew it was your friend. I thought she was pulling my leg. And so once I realized that it was getting too inappropriate, I decided to block her, okay? There's nothing more there. Shows her his phone. Like, whatever, okay? So now Randy and Myra, they're in town in India. And she catches them up on things. Oops, forgive me. Let me skip back. In that same meeting is when he tells her that apparently he spoke to his astrologist friend who says that they need to wait 2 more months in order for them to tell his parents that he is looking at marriage. Okay? His astrology friend. I need a second opinion, sir. If I was Jen, I would have said you need to get a second opinion. Because no way your friend is telling us to wait. And we've already waited, 2 to 3 years? Stop playing with me. Are you kidding me right now? But she goes on with it. So now her friends are in town. She catches her friends up on, basically what he's saying. And they're just like, BS. Like, same thing that I'm saying. But they just wait to meet Reese in order to go and grill him with some questions. When they meet him, of course, they grill him with the questions. The friend asks, hey, why were you sending me that picture, that picture that's clearly on his page? And he was like, listen, I figured you was pulling my leg. And like there was nothing that I wanted from you there, so I decided to block you afterwards. Let's move on from this. So then in the conversation, as they're asking him questions, that's when he decides to say that, oh, my parents actually did introduce him to some girls that they want him to marry. Now, you completely never told Jen this, right? The first time you telling her this is in front of her girlfriends, which is super embarrassing. And you've never said this before. Jen, if you don't take your butt back to America with your girlfriends and leave us all alone, because Reese has been lying this whole time. First off, 2 years of y'all just BSing this whole way. Y'all not trying to get married. This is baloney. All right, let's move on. Let's get to Jamie and Kris. No. Let's get Danielle and Johan out the way. I'm gonna save Jamie and Kris for last. So let's get Danielle and Johan. So Danielle, we see her kicking a coconut around the home because if you remember, she had told Johan just the day before that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna bring my friend over. My friend I used to lay down and have sex with. My friend who's not really my friend since we only communicate through DMs on social media. It's not like we speak daily, but that's still my friend nonetheless. And I want you to come and meet him. Pure BS. So she decides to go and kick a coconut around because in her newfound religion, that is what you do to go and bring peace into your home. Well, maybe it worked, at least for a little bit of the time being. They ended up kissing it out, whatever, right? They let it go, at least temporarily, we see. Later on that evening, she throws him a surprise birthday party with his family, which I thought was pretty nice. And it looked great. You could see like the genuine smile on his face. It was awesome. Well, until we get to the speech. You see, Johan decides to give a speech, thanking everyone from coming out and so forth. Then he goes and he sits down and his pops is like, wait, you forgot someone to thank. And he's like, wait, what? Perhaps your wife, the one who put all of this together, that brought all of us out, who probably also paid for the food that your family is eating. Let's be real, maybe her, the one that put the cake together and all of that. And he's just like, listen, I thanked her later. What? So I was with Danielle when she was upset. I would have been upset with that as well. However, I would have held off on that until we got home, not in front of his family, right? But Danielle couldn't wait, so she decides to go and walk away there, right? She walks away there and he follows behind her. He's like, what's the issue? She tells him, listen, you're ungrateful. Like, what was all of that about? And he's like, listen, like, you can't just go and throw me a party and assume as if just the day before the day before my birthday that you didn't nearly ruin my birthday, with you now trying to force me, telling me that you're going to force me to meet your so-called friend that you used to lay up in the bed with, okay? I'm still upset with you about that, and I'm not over it. So you and these surprises, and you thinking that a surprise party is going to knock that out of the way. See, here's the thing, Johan. You have every right to still be upset, just like Danielle has every right to be upset as well with that speech. But you know what? Both of you guys are being childish, because you could have still thanked her in that moment, because that is a private matter for you and your family. You could have still thanked that girl, okay, and not bring that to the forefront in front of your family. So both of you guys are being childish, and that's it as far as that goes. Danielle walks off crying, and he continues on the night with his family. All right, let's move on to the meat and the potato. Jamie and Kris, okay? Jamie and drug addicted Kris, allegedly, I am saying, okay, let me throw out allegedly so I don't get myself caught up in no sort of trouble, because I don't know her like that. However, all signs points to Kris being on drugs. We've already discussed this in previous episodes. No different here. So Kris leaves Colombia last time, right? She says that, oh, you know what? I was having bank issues and so forth. Like, I can't seem to pull out some money from my bank. First off, let me tell you something. When you travel outside of the U.S., all it takes is a 5-minute call before you leave to say, hey, I'm going to be out from this time to that time. Go ahead and release funds or allow me to access my account. That's it. It's a 5-minute phone call. Everybody knows that. Doesn't matter what bank you're with. All you got to do is just let them know that. That's it. And if you're out there, it should still be a phone call for them. Okay, but whatever. She says she has to get back to the U.S. And I was like, no, girl, you got to get back to the U.S. to go and get you some more drugs. Okay, because clearly, whatever drugs that was over the counter there, that very that Vicodin that you get over the counter allegedly was not strong enough for Kris. That's probably why it's over the counter over there. It's probably because it's not as strong as what it will be here in the U.S. that you would need prescription for, or maybe it is strong and you got other drugs that you quote unquote need. Allegedly. All of this is allegedly, but I digress. Long story short, she tells her, hey, I got to get back to the U.S. And a 2-week trip turns into 3 months, guys. 3 months. You just got married in 3 months. Let me tell you something. Kris took her tail out there for a rendezvous. That was it. She married her because of this show. Let's be real. But she's not taking it serious. Kris doesn't take any marriage serious. Hence the reason why she's been married not 1, not 2, but 4 times. Like, come on. For Kris, it's just another relationship. Signing the documents is nothing for her. So she's gone for 3 months. Barely calls her wife. Okay, finds out that the wife got COVID, and you know that she went through tough times prior, and you still didn't bother to go and consistently check up on the woman that you just married. You can't make this up, boys and girls. You cannot make this thing up. So Jamie calls her out and says to her that, listen, I've only spoken to you 3 times in a matter of 3 months since you've been gone. We have not spoken since 1 month prior, which means that Kris is only talking while the cameras are rolling. Hence the reason why you also married that girl, because the cameras were rolling. And you know that this is a fiancé show. That's it. And so she's out there, she's expressing herself to her. But then Kris is like, listen, I have to work because you're not working. You see, here's the thing. Jamie had stepped away from work while Kris was in town. And then Jamie's boss tells her, listen, you bring your tail into work or you can kiss your job goodbye. While Jamie knows from what I hear that in Colombia it is hard to get a job, but yet Jamie still decides to quit her job, right? Kris goes, she speaks it over with Kris, and Kris goes, yeah, you can go ahead and you can quit. Okay, here's my thing. Even with Kris giving you the green light, Kris has already shown you signs of inconsistency. Kris has already disappeared on you multiple times, okay? So you have to look out for yourself at this moment. There is no way you should be quitting your job for someone that has lacked stability and her consistency with being in your life. I don't care what she tells you. Even a sugar baby knows that if sugar daddy that has not been consistently giving her money, she knows not to plan around that man. So I don't know what you thought Especially with you knowing that in Colombia, it is hard to get a job out there regardless of what background or education you have. So you should have took your tail to work. So I'm going to hold you responsible for that one, Jamie. But anyways, Kris is now working for the both of them, right? So even though she has not been speaking to her, she's been sending her money. Okay? So she's been sending her money to go and maintain the household out there. Well, Jamie is just like, listen, screw the money. I need my wife. I haven't spoken to you. When you do speak to me, you're calling me the B word. And honestly, at this point, I don't feel like you ever loved me. So that, of course, sets Kris off. And Kris is like, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. She walks off. But as she walks off, I noticed bandages or whatever that was around the elbow portion of her arm. Now, when she was in Colombia, we noticed marks on the hand. And you add in all of this funniness. I'm telling you, listen, I'm not saying she's an addict. But I'm saying it's a lot of, her behavior is very addict behavior, okay? Along with some of these characteristics and physical things that we are seeing. But again, this is all allegedly. I don't know this woman, okay? This woman can be a juicer for all we know. I doubt it. But this is just my opinion. So that's all I wanted to say. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Like, do you think that Kris was hiding something with the little wrap up on both arms? You telling me on both? I mean, maybe, listen, I could be wrong. I don't know. Like, what are you guys' thoughts as far as that go? Do you think that as far as Danielle and Johan, that they were being super childish? Or do you think that, no, like Danielle was right in her feelings of being upset? I think she was right in her feelings of being upset, just like I think that Johan was right in his feelings of being upset. I just think that that was not the right time or place for both of them to distribute that. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.